All right, so Game 6 of the 2022 NBA Finals, the parquet in Boston. We go. The Warriors looking to close out the Celtics and win the 4th title in this era of opulence. Did you watch? According to the ratings, not many are watching this, but so maybe you missed it. But we got your back. So we watched, because what else are we going to do? We do a talk show about sports. So what else are you going to watch? Anyway, so we watched, so you would not have to. It's our good act of kindness for the day. Boston jumps out to an early 12-point lead in this game. And then at some point, and I'm not sure exactly when this happened, because Boston had all the momentum. They were up by 12. When you have a 12-point lead, you've got all the momentum. But then Golden State said, we want the momentum, and they took the momentum. Of course, momentum doesn't exist, so there's nothing to take. What Golden State did was they turned on the afterburners at that point, right around that point, ended up at one stretch, a 21-0 run. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night, as the Golden State Warriors would never trail again. Steph Curry, 34 points. Andrew Wiggins had 18. And the Warriors pick up another Larry O'Brien trophy, a dominating exclamation point end to the NBA Finals. The Celtics sucked at a time you cannot suck in the finals, and we will work our way to Boston. But that's the better story. But we're not going to start with that this time because the team has won a championship. So let us discuss. Now, the question, you going to go thumbs up or thumbs down? Does this 2022 title mean more for the Warriors than the other previous titles in this era of Golden State basketball? Because that was the popular talking point in the minutes and the hours after Game 6 of the finals. It was like, well, this one's more important. This one's more important. So you're going to go thumbs up or thumbs down on this being the most important out of these championships in this era for the Warriors. So I am going 2 thumbs up. I agree with that. I'm going 2 thumbs up on this. I've got kosher salt, booby trapped, and big board. And we will tie all of these random things together, and that will be the bedrock for this Maller monologue. So when you look at the Maller scale of satisfaction, accomplishing something in life, in an athletic concept, which is what we're dealing with here, this is near the very top for the scale of satisfaction, the sweetest of them all. Now, why? Why is this Golden State championship the sweetest of them all in this run? So there's a gaggle of reasons. The most obvious is, well, it's the freshest. It's the newest. You always love that because it's just happened, right? It's going on right now. It's not some distant memory. But more importantly, this one validates the others in the eyes of the historians. And since it has been decided, and I'm not sure who decided this, but I just go with the flow. Why not? It was decided years ago that every team that wins a championship in any sport at the professional level, and likely the college level too, but we're talking pro sports, any team that wins a title in pro sports, they get up on the microphone and they all say some version of the same thing. Right? Nobody thought we could do it. We proved the doubters wrong. Everyone was against us. We overcame adversity. All of those things. And on cue, many of those same statements were said by various members of the Golden State traveling party. Right? In fact, Steph Curry, listen to Steph Curry. Now, Golden State was one of the favorites. By the time the playoffs came around, Golden State was one of the favorites to get to the finals and to win the finals. But you wouldn't know it. Listen to Steph Curry here explain. Well, I'll just let him tell you.
Beginning of the season, nobody thought we'd be here, except everybody on this court right now. It's amazing. Very surreal, though. Very surreal.
Yes, nobody. All right, it's just outstanding. And the reason that Curry's bringing that up, the Warriors were able to take 2 gap years off. They didn't even try the last 2 years because Klay Thompson wasn't around. So they just we'll just suck, get a couple of draft picks, we'll be good to go, and we won't even try to compete. They were an absolute dog food team a couple years ago, but they were covered up. Nobody really paid that much attention to it because of the whole COVID stuff going on. And all that got washed away with this championship. But the main reason, the validation's one thing, but the main reason here that this one is extra special is because you get to stick it to a nemesis. And whatever happens the rest of the way for the Golden State Warriors, and it certainly seems like this thing's winding down, even though they won the championship. This is likely not going to continue much longer. So the Warriors here pouring kosher salt on top of the open wound of Kevin Durant. All right, Kevin Durant came to Golden State, was a monster in the NBA Finals for the Warriors, and they were winning right, left, and everywhere, getting it done. And then he left, and he went to the Nets, and then the Warriors sucked. They were terrible. Well, now they're back. And Kevin Durant, somewhere right now, is hanging out with his girlfriend, Mary Jane, and having a fine time and not worrying about any of this. But Durant has been an infection, if you will, for the Warriors. Because everything's, well, yeah, it's the yabbit. Yabbit. All right, now, turning the page. So part B of this, let's go over to the losing locker room, where the better story is, how much credit do the Celtics get for assisting the Warriors in winning this final? So the way I looked at this, Boston gift-wrapped. They gift-wrapped this series, and they delivered it via room service card. All you had to do was open the door right at your hotel room, your suite, and you got everything right there. It's all gift-wrapped for you. How else do you explain Golden State being able to win with Klay Thompson shooting 35% in the finals, averaging 17 points? Draymond Green was abysmal. He's not an offensive player, but he should be better than 33.3%, half the sign of the devil. That's what he shot in the finals. And he averaged less than 6 points and 8 rebounds. And in several games, he was a complete no-show. He spent more time working on his podcast than he did working on his game in some of these moments in the NBA Finals. Well, the main villain, if you will, for the Celtics, the guy that gets the game ball here from Golden State is Jason Tatum. Man alive! Boy, you want to watch a guy get vaporized by his own hands. It wasn't anything specifically that Golden State did. They were the beneficiary. We'd mentioned this in a previous episode of the show. The Warriors were the beneficiary. The Celtics were the benefactor. They were the ones, and Jason Tatum leading the charge here. What is the golden rule? The golden rule in sports is don't beat yourself. But really in life, you don't want to beat yourself in any endeavor, whether it's sports or just business, whatever it might be, school. You want to force the opponent to beat you. But this is more evidence that what we've said all along is true, what we believe, that most ball games are lost, most series are lost, they're not won. This was an act of sabotage. Right? The series was booby-trapped by Jason Tatum. Tatum, who is uber talented, physically gifted, and one of the top players in that business, right? In that business, he's one of the top guys. He was befuddled, bewildered, and discombobulated for long patches of the NBA Finals. He played careless basketball. He was undisciplined. And this final exam for Tatum, a shining example. You're at home. You got a shot to force a Game 7, a winner-take-all Game 7 over the weekend. And what do? In an elimination game, Tatum goes out and says, you know what? I would like to poop the bed. Let me poop the bed. Now, I'm sure he didn't plan on doing this, but that's what happened. 13 points, took 18 field goal attempts, missed 12 of the 18 shots. Missed 12 of the 18 shots, 7 rebounds, 5 turnovers. P.U. What stinks? Jason Tatum in the NBA Finals. And the problem, and I can go through all the numbers if you want. I don't know if you want to hear too many numbers. He was, in the second half, the game was pretty much, felt like it was over at halftime. They still had to play the second half. And the Celtics were they were lurking around within striking distance, 10, 8 points, right around there in parts of the second half. But you never really got the vibe they were actually in the game, even though mathematically they were in the game. But in the second half, Tatum had 2 more points than you did. He had 2 points and 2 turnovers in the second half. And overall, he became the first player in NBA history to have 100 turnovers in a single postseason run. Jason Tatum is now the gold standard for futility. And I had a listener send me a funny meme here on my email of, remember that famous photo of Wilt Chamberlain in Hershey, Pennsylvania, when he scored 100 points, and he held up a piece of paper, and it had 100 on it, and somebody had photoshopped Jason Tatum's face over it. It was very funny. Good job. I don't know who did that, but a good job by them. All right, last word here. So another popular story going around regarding the finals is that now that it's over and Steph Curry has gotten off the schneid and won an MVP award in the finals, that since Curry is the NBA Finals MVP, does Curry now leapfrog to the top 10 NBA players of all time? And I'm not going to do a list here, but I will go to Big Ben's big board. I'm going to go to Big Ben's big board on this, because on Big Ben's big board, which is not a list, I don't do list radio, but on Big Ben's big board, Curry is not in the top 10. Sorry, not sorry. He's not. And you can do this a couple different ways, but on my big board right now, I still have Michael Jordan. Is the greatest player of all time. He's number one, Michael Jordan. And then if you look at the big board, you stare at the radio on the big board on the radio, you can see Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Kobe Bryant, Karl Malone, all on that list. LeBron James, put him on there, but he's not in the top 5. He's lower than that. Not a fan. And Kawhi Leonard, top 10 player. The reason Kawhi's in there is because let me explain. The reason Kawhi's in there at number 10 is because the Toronto Raptors championship is the single greatest championship ever won in NBA history until the Clippers win. So Kawhi catapults into the top 10, and he's got all the accolades and all that. He's been great in big games and tremendous defensive player and all that. So he's in my top 10. It's my big board. On my big board, he's in my top 10. So Curry's, he's hanging out in the back there, not in the top 10, but he's hanging out with his contemporaries are like Shaq, Hakeem Olajuwon, Charles Barkley, Elgin Baylor, Kevin Garnett, Reggie Miller, John Stockton, Isaiah Thomas, people like that. That's who he's hanging out with, but he's not in the top. Sorry, not sorry. Because again, championships are a team award. That's why I have Karl Malone in the top 10. He didn't win a championship, but it's a team award. Individual accolades are different. It's separate.